Recording is in progress. Change it to speaker view. All right, everybody, let's go. Let's make it happen. Aaron Lanning says LFG, and Aaron Lanning says LFG, then that means it's time to LFG. If you don't know what LFG is, we're going to keep this somewhat family oriented. You can look that up yourselves. I don't take any responsibility for anything you find. All right, so very excited here. So we have our Thursday mastermind at 12:15. And I am very fortunate to be joined here with our very own Kyler Battleson out of our Canyon Lake office. Give Kyler a round of applause. Baby. All right. Good job. Good job. Good job. So, you know, part of I tell this story to people all the time, when we do these masterminds is, wow, it's so great that you get these people to participate. And I tell everyone there's three keys to having people on a mastermind meeting. Number one is you want people that are somewhat influencers, where when people read their name, go, oh, I want to hear what that person has to say. Number two is you want someone that's doing something valuable that can bring some value to the table. And number three, and I can't stress this enough, people that will probably say yes. So as soon as I knew that we had this opportunity to do a mastermind, I was like, well, let me give Mr. Kyler Battleson a call because he checks all those three boxes. So very good. So Kyler, do me a favor, give the people here just a quick little kind of recap, Reader's Digest version of, how long you've been in the business and background and things like that.
Yeah, been in the business for about 3 years. Got into real estate just after COVID had kind of started, and that was part of the reason why I got in was COVID. We basically all lost our jobs, and had been always wanting to get into real estate, and that was kind of my time. I was like, all right, well, you know what? I'm gonna dive right in. I'm 25 years old. I have a wife and a beautiful 7-month-old baby. Her name is Blakely, and yeah, I live here in Canyon Lake, Southern California. For those that don't really know where that is, it's kind of between Temecula and Corona. It's basically right in the middle of that, and we're in a cool little spot over here.
For those of you that don't know where Temecula and Corona is, he lives in Riverside County.
Yeah, basically San Diego.
Very good. Love it, love it, love it. All right, so I want to kind of start with this. One of the highlights for you is looking at this year compared to last year. So I ran some numbers, and I don't even know if you know these numbers. I did January through April 2023 versus January through April 2024. In transactions, you're more than double the amount of closings you have in terms of transaction count, and you're more than triple in commission income from same time last year to same time this year. And I think, how many pendings do you have right now?
Two pendings.
And how many active listings?
Uh, None, because they all went first weekend.
Got it. Got it. Got it. Got it. Okay, perfect. So give us a little bit of, first of all, congratulations, but give us a little bit, what's the difference between first couple months of 2023 versus first couple months of 2024?
I would say biggest difference is my motivation level. Last year I thought I was motivated. Last year I thought, I'm trying my hardest and stuff. Well, you pop out a baby 7 months ago, and that adds a whole nother level of motivation that I didn't even know was there. You've got a whole nother human to provide for. So, I like to say she's a big portion of that. A decent portion of it is also between from last year. They always say in real estate, I think that I don't. You'd probably kill me for saying this, but I don't follow Mike Ferry to a T. But I do remember he said, in you basically, whatever you're doing right now propels your next 3, 4, 5 months.
Mhm.
So when we had Blakely last year, end of last year, the second we had her, leading up to it, it was kind of a chaos, and then we had her, and then took a week or two off or something, and then really just dove right back in, and didn't see a whole lot come from that immediately, but I'm seeing it all now, like all of those little seeds that I threw in because okay, now I've got to work for a whole new reason. All of those seeds that I kind of planted in that time frame is what is carrying my entire business. And the last year before that, I never really grasped that, and I think part of it was because I was so new and still trying to navigate how to be a realtor, what that even means to be a realtor. But I think that was a decent portion of how this year is going, is because of all those seeds that I planted, 5 months ago, 6 months ago. And that was, I think that's the biggest difference between what last year was versus this year, is I never really grasped that concept until end of last year. So
I love it. I love it. Yeah, but you have a baby and she's 7 months old, and you and I, we were actually talking about this a little bit the other day when we were in Michigan about, you're there, you're providing, you're a hands-on dad.
yeah.
And I think that's wonderful. So the question I wrote down here is, you have a child and that motivated you, and that is a different level of motivation, but a lot of people struggle with the I have kids, especially young kids, and still going to do the work. And not only are you going to do the work, but as we mentioned, the numbers are up quite a bit. So how do you balance a young child, a wife, and still going to work at a high level?
It's hard. It's still hard. I'm still trying to navigate that. I feel like when I'm at the office, and I think you hit it on the tee when you said it when we were together. When you're at the office, you give 100%. You give
Mhm.
every single little bit that you have to offer. And even when I'm home as realtor, we're never really off. We're still always on duty. So navigating that, I'm still trying to learn and figure out balance and stuff. But when I'm at the office, I give every single thing I got. I am always trying as hard as I possibly can. When I'm sitting in my chair at my desk, that is when I work the absolute hardest. And I think that was, my wife sees it. I love her to death, and we have both had hard times during trying to navigate this whole life, family life versus real estate life, and work life, and trying to balance that. And she says, you never, like when you're home, you're focusing on us, and when you try and God bless you, when you're trying to work from home, you're not working as hard than as you are when you're in the office. The second your butt sits in that seat, you always seem to just shut everything off and laser focus. So I try and get in here at least as much as I possibly can, because I know when I'm sitting my butt in the seat, everything that happens is all real estate focused, 110%.
So part of that then is getting to the office.
Getting to the office. Yeah.
So it's fair to say that if you didn't do that and you tried to work from home, it would probably take you longer to get everything done, because you wouldn't be so laser focused, as you said, on the tasks that you have.
100%. You especially with a newborn, you got baby doing something, and she does something for the second time where she laughs a certain way, and then you're like, oh my gosh, I want to see the smile, I want to see the laugh. You're so distracted. There's so many different things happening here. This is all I see. I see two screens, and I'm just 100% focused. I've got my sales board right here, my screen, and then real estate files on this side. And this is all I see. This is my field of vision. This is all I know for the hours that I'm sitting here. And then the second I get up to, even go get water, I'm not even really like, I just kind of lose track of what I'm doing, what I want to do, my notes, because when it's in front of you, and Scott Steele is a perfect example when he set his goals for last year, and then he's doing it again for this year. But he put little things all over in his field of view. And whether you're looking at it or not, it's still in your field of view. So you're seeing it every day and it comes to fruition. It's just like when I'm working in here, this is my field of view. If it's in my field of view, I am thinking about it. At home, there's too many distractions. But that's also a good thing. When I leave here, I'm focusing on them. I'm not, real estate isn't the main thing when I'm home. We never turn off, obviously, but this is my field of vision. This is where I work best.
I don't know how the rest of this call is going to go, but I hope everyone just understood what he just said. The field of vision, because, and I've seen his office, and it really is that way. Is that everything he sees is either my computers, my lead board, and my vision boards. This is what I'm seeing. It's hard to be unmotivated when you have all of this in front of you. It's hard to be distracted. It's hard to not work at a high level. And for a lot of you, I'm not trying to be mean, but a lot of your desk situations are not that. Your desk situations allow for distractions. They allow for non-productivity. And if you get nothing else out of that, that field of vision, what he just said, that was great, great stuff. So I love it. I love it. So where does the business come from?
Really my sphere. That has been the biggest thing. I don't spend money on leads. I don't spend money on cold calling. And I know some people in the company is going to kill me for saying that. And it works for a lot of people. Me, I haven't entered into that realm yet. I'm still building my book of business through my sphere, because starting out, that's what you want to try and do. You want to hit every single person, but it always seems like that list is growing. I have my certain set of contacts, and right when you get licensed, the first thing to hit is contact every single person in your phone and let them know you're a realtor. You're only gonna be able to do it once. And I'm like, okay, I only have maybe 250 people on my phone. Oh, that's going to be great. I'll make the 250 calls or text, whatever. And then that's it. How do I, add that? One of the biggest things that I feel like has kind of transformed, and built, it was more like a catalyst, I guess, in my business was, making real relationships with every single person I meet. I always try and remember names, whether you're a store clerk or someone, and you never know where your path is going to cross again, whether it's another realtor or just someone that you ran into on the street. That right there has propelled the business, and I think that was, that's the question was, where am I getting all my business? And it's the sphere. It's every single person I meet, and whether they're looking or not, they know someone looking. Someone's going to buy that house, someone's going to sell that house, and I want it to be me.
Got it. So do you have phone calls? Do you text message? Do you do pop buys? Like, how do you stay in contact with your sphere?
Sphere as in people that are looking, or sphere as in people that I am just friends with?
So you just let's start with people you're friends with. They're not necessarily leads. They're just friends of yours, past clients, centers of influence. How do you stay in contact with them?
Engagement through social media.
Social media. So
Social,
tell us a little bit about that.
um,
Like, is it direct messages? Is it posting and tagging? Like, how do you leverage your social media to stay in front of your database and generate leads?
yeah. I do a lot of I'm not a social media fan. I'm just going to start with that.
Actually, I did not know that. I did
I am
not
not
know
a,
that of you.
you
That is
wouldn't know that
interesting.
looking at my profiles and stuff. You would not, you would think I love it. I don't think anyone really loves it. There's a lot involved with it. There's a lot of work. And there's also a lot of, there's a lot. So with me in social media, it's a love-hate relationship because, it works. And that's the problem. If it didn't work, I wouldn't do it. But through the engagement that I have with my friends, followers, whatever you want to call them, I consider every single one of them a friend. Um, I'm constantly saying happy birthday because Facebook gives you notifications of whose birthday it is. Constantly saying happy birthday. I hope you have an amazing day. And it's such a canned response, but the name pops up, and that's all I want. If someone gets married, has baby, anything, I'm always commenting. Oh, congratulations, or hope you have a great day, or oh, that looks so awesome, so jealous, or something. Just random things, but social media from that, between the social media algorithms on the back end, the more you're engaging with people, the more you're going to be your posts get in front of them. But between that and them just seeing my name pop up, I want them to, every time they think real estate, they think Kyler Battleson, and not necessarily just because of my real estate career and how well it's been and what I post about that, but also, oh yeah, he's such a nice guy. Every birthday, he always wishes me a happy birthday. We never talked about anything else, but every single birthday, he always wishes me. Every anniversary, I always see him saying happy anniversary. No other realtor does that. That's something that is purely me, because I want everyone to know I actually care. It's not just me trying to get everyone's business. I care. I'm a caring person. So
Well, you know what's interesting? You just said that though. You said no other real estate agents do that. I think the assumption is that every real estate agent does that, but that's not true.
yeah, yeah,
Got it. Got it. So commenting on people's posts, that gets your name in front of them. They see that you're commented. So again, you're just staying top of mind through those types of things. And I imagine your profile, shows that you're a real estate agent. And so they know
yeah.
when they are looking at you, they're looking at
Like,
real estate.
yeah, even the people that are like, we're not super big friends, and we just have people on, or we just have mutual friends, and we're now Instagram friends or Facebook friends or something. They're like, oh, who's Kyler Ballison? He just wished me happy birthday. Goes to my bro. Oh, nice guy. He looks like a sweet family. Okay, cool. Follow.
If only they knew the truth.
Actually, hate social media.
I hate social media, and I'm really not that nice of a guy. And that's not even my child, actually. I rented it for the day.
She's a great photo prop. She's gorgeous. No, I truly think just being there for people in a different way than just saying, hey, refer me or people, like, just very cold post, kind of like that, where I make my income based off of your referrals. And so I see that every once in a while, and it's just a very cold way. I never ask for that. I always just give myself, and whether it's taken or not, that's who I am, and it's worked in a way where people feel more comfortable with me when they go to do reach out, or I reach out and say, hey, I saw you. We've kind of talked very briefly for the last couple of years. Is there anything I can ever help you with? Let me know. Like, just random stuff like that, and it's worked. I got a listing the other day just on it. So
Where you communicated with somebody through social media, and then that led to an appointment,
never
got
met
the
them in
listing.
their entire life. And they said they had a realtor that they were thinking about listing their house with, and they saw all my stuff on Instagram, and they were very curious to see what I could offer. Met with them 24 hours later, had a signed listing agreement, and we are in escrow. So
Wow.
yeah.
Good job. Good job. I love it. Okay, cool. Hey, I want to go back to something you said earlier. I made a note here. You said that you got in during COVID
Yeah.
and really not knowing much about real estate, what to do, just, but it didn't stop you from just going to do it, just getting out there. And I feel like, there's a saying that it's analysis by paralysis. And I feel like there's a lot of agents that have that difficulty of just go, just go do it. We'll figure it out. And sometimes the best way to learn is just do. So where's that mindset come from? I mean, there was no fear essentially, and just I'm going to go out there and just try to do it, even though I don't know this business 100%. What's the mentality around that?
Oh, there was fear, Robert. There was a lot of fear. You saying there's no fear and I'm fearless? No, there was a lot of fear, but I
Okay.
think that added the motivation. I read this. I don't even remember who said it. It could be, I don't know. But if you're uncomfortable, that's when you fight your hardest. And that was, we got in during COVID and had just lost the job. Uh, being a brand new realtor, we're fully commission based. So, I told myself if I don't make it in the first year, if I'm not doing okay, or if I haven't done like, a deal or two, then I wasn't cut out. And I don't really lose. I don't like to lose. I like to win. So, that I fought as hard as I possibly could, and I'm still fighting. I'm still trying to create that big book of business that all the top producers have. I'm nowhere near that level. I would love to be, but I'm nowhere near that. And you just keep fighting as hard as you possibly can. And I feel like when my back is against the wall, and that's probably how most people are, they fight their hardest because you don't want to have your back against the wall. Um, and during COVID, there a million realtors got into the industry. It wasn't just me, and there was a lot of realtors that were probably dormant, and then they got in because it was a frenzy. I knew I had to be different in some type of a way. How am I going to distinguish myself? I'm a brand new realtor. I just got a license. Why use me over a bunch of other people? I had no history. I've got no stats. I can't say, hey, I sold 20 homes last year. That's why you should use me. I had nothing going for me. So my thing was I want to build myself in a different way. And social media was the catalyst for that. I want to brand myself in a different way where other realtors I feel like hadn't done that yet, and really showcase my different abilities, even though they're not selling houses, like selling 20 houses a year, or 10 or whatever top producers can do. I hadn't done that, so my thing with how to be different was be different, be a different guy, and through videos was how I did it. Videos on social media was the way I knew I was going to be different because people saw who I was instead of just my statistics.
Yeah. So, but there still has to be a comfort level of if somebody replies to your video and is interested in buying a house or is interested in selling a house, that now you actually have to help them.
Yeah.
So where again, was there what did that even cross your mind as a fear, or did you have a plan for that, or was it just we're gonna figure this out?
We're gonna figure it out. I I learned a lot through mentors and just watching other people. I learned from watching, and when that first 6 months year, I'm still learning, but that whole first time when I wasn't doing any deals and I was just trying to market myself in a different way, I was still learning and I was still watching. I watched Trace Emerson every single day, and the guy is a incredible human being and person to watch of how he navigates, just from a phone call perspective. You hear the guy talk and the way he cares for his clients in such a different way, where it's not just, okay, you need this, all right, I'll get it done. No, it's he answers the phone call every single time, and he'll if you call him right now, he'll answer it this way: "How are you?" That's his first thing. He always answers his phone call. How are you? And just right there, that was a whole new level of it. Every single time I answer my, "Hey, how are you?" Like that. That's just right. You show that you care. So so the question was, the whole fear thing of how I was going to be able to navigate these people that I had no experience in the industry whatsoever, and someone would come in, and now I'm supposed to help them. Well, I kind of had a good idea of what to do because of all of the people that I watched, and I am, like I said, I'm still watching, but that's how it helped me, and I learned from that.
I love it. I love it. I love it. So I want you to know, I was just looking this up as you were talking, because you're closer than you think, probably, and it's great to be humble, and I'm okay boosting you up a little bit because I don't see you as a type of guy with a big ego. Uh, you're closer than you think to some of these top producers. We have 700 agents in the company. We're the number two company in the state of California. So we've got some really big hitters, and you're number 17 year to date in terms of commission. So, third year in the business, competing against some really big time people, man, that's out of 700. That's pretty good.
I
So,
appreciate. I had no,
congratulations. I know you didn't know that because you're not focused on that, but I, I think it's good to know because you're right there. I mean, third year in the business, you're not far behind some of them,
yeah.
so you're right there, man. You're on the verge of doing you're already doing great stuff, and you're on the verge of doing even bigger stuff. So
I got a
very
good.
well done. Well, it's easy, as being part of that support system, it's easy to support people that participate. So,
Yeah.
we thank you way more than you probably need to thank us. All right, question. So we got 8 minutes. He's got a hard stop at 12:50. So, questions for Kyler that anybody has. You can either unmute yourself or put it in the chat box. Anybody got anything? If
Don't be
not,
afraid.
I have more. If nobody has anything.
Biggest question: where the heck is Canyon Lake? Everyone's
Yeah,
searching
yeah,
around.
yeah. Everyone's still trying to figure that
I've
out.
heard of this place.
Yeah, I have no
It
idea.
were a gem.
Yeah,
I have a
there's a
question.
Tyler, I have
there's
a
a lake.
question.
All right, go ahead.
Hey, Kyler, how's it going?
Hi, Tyler.
So
Oh,
Let's go. Kamel, go
So
first.
if you, I'd like to ask you, for someone like myself that I can't do backflips because I'll probably break a hip or something, how would you suggest that I could get started on video?
I didn't hear
I think it
some.
was like, how would you suggest somebody get started with video on social media? I think that's what the question was.
My first video that I ever did was who I am. Not even the fact that I'm a realtor, but just the fact of who is Kyler Battleson. That's actually the title of it. I put it on YouTube.
And
Who
we've
is
been trying to figure that out still for years later to who really is
who
Kyler
is
Battleson.
no, that was the first thing I ever did, and it reacted very well because so often we just see videos of homes or market statistics, but who is that person? Like who are they? What are their hobbies? What are they? What do they like? Who's their family? I showcased me, my wife. I had my dogs in there, and I just kind of talked about me for a second and how I am different and how I could help people. And I just or my passion is helping people, not even more like, oh, I can help you buy a home. No, just I just love helping people. And that whole video just of me talking about who I am. And I know that's a little uncomfortable for some people to talk. You don't want to talk about yourself maybe too often, and I didn't want to talk about myself at all, but it helped a lot of people that I've got on social media or that I know, and they just wanted to know who I am, and that was my first video that I ever did.
So on that point though, Kyler, I imagine, and I'm not a social media guy, so this is just a question, kind of a thought of, making that video not about how great you are, just who you are.
Who you are as a person. Who am I you're gonna help, or if I was a buyer and I'm gonna hire a realtor, I want to know who I'm working with. I don't want to just know that, okay, you have a license. I want to know, who are you? Like, we're gonna connect on a little bit of a deeper level, and I like to connect more closer with my clients and friends and stuff. And if I'm hiring somebody, I want to know who they are.
It reminds me of coach used to have, Tony Smith would say, you're essentially entering into about a 90-day marriage with somebody.
Yeah.
So, how do you want that 90 days to go? So I love that. Kamal, what was your question?
Yes. So you started when you were 22, right, Kyler?
Yeah.
So, I mean, where did your confidence come from, bro? Like, and like after you got someone that DM you, they reached out to you, and you had to go on a listing appointment. Was there like scripts you used, or did you just kind of,
Well,
like?
if Mike Ferry was on here, I would probably try and say, "Oh yeah, I used the scripts." No, I didn't. I didn't use them on. I know, Robert. I'm sorry. But I'm gonna
No,
be.
no, but here's the reality. Look at we don't deny that there's a lot of people in the company that use Mike Ferry, but there's people that don't, and that's the beauty of this company and the beauty of these type of masterminds is you're going to hear different perspectives from different people. So I don't want you to feel bad for not using that particular system. I want you to, tell your different side of the story, and that's the beauty of having somebody like you on here. So go for
Yeah.
it.
But to answer the question, where the confidence come from? There's a saying, "Fake it till you make it." So if you act confident in front of someone, whether you are or not, they're gonna smell that confidence off of you. Maybe in the form of sweat, but there's still you act you act confident, and they're gonna think you could say anything you want, and as long as you say it with confidence, they're gonna believe it, and they're gonna think, okay, this guy actually knows what he's doing, whether it's your first transaction or your 500. As long as you're the confidence level, I practice in front of my wife the night before the listing agreement, because I was sweating bullets, and I was like, I don't know if I can do this. This is the hardest part about a listing agreement, is talking about commissions. You don't want to talk about how much you're going to make and stuff, or how much they're going to have to pay you. That is the scariest part, and it still scares me. But the way I combat that is, and I don't remember who told me this, but you say why you're worth that. You say, I charge this because, and that right there helped boosted my confidence so much more, because now it's not a negative, it's a positive. A negative is, hey, you guys, buyer or seller, Mr. and Mrs., you're gonna have to pay me this, and then we're gonna do this, we're gonna do this. No, you kind of flip the script and you say, I am worth, I'm gonna charge this because this is what I do, and this is how I earn my money. That was my favorite line. This is how I'm gonna earn my money. And then you go into your whole marketing plan. We're going to do this. This is how we are going to sell your house, and this is how you're going to make a bunch of money. That right there boosted my confidence, because now we're taking a bunch of negatives and turning it into positives, and I'm a positive person. And like I said, the confidence thing, you just gotta try as hard as you can to act confident, and if you act confident, then they're going to believe that you're confident. Hopefully that answered
Awesome,
it.
thank you. Yeah,
Of
that
course.
was perfect, dude. Oh, I have another question. Sorry, Robert.
Go ahead.
So you have your sphere. Is there like expireds, just listed, canceled? You do too? I'm assuming you do just listed, just sold for your own listings, but any expireds canceled for sale by owners, or how's that out there in Canyon Lake?
Yeah, we don't have too many. The expired market out here, obviously us realtors, we work everywhere. I primarily focus in this community because I was born and raised here, and we've got a really, really good little pocket. And if you can get into it, it's very fruitful. We don't have too many expireds, and we don't have any for sale by owners. I think our last FSBO was maybe 2 years ago, right when COVID hit. They're not very often that those come up. And I don't do any calling. My title rep will sporadically, I'll ask for some things to, if business is down and I'm not able to do anything else, then yeah, I focus everything into calling just more of the next up, they call them next ups, of homes that are more likely to go on the market. So that's what I would normally do, and I've gotten a couple decent little things from that. But the expired and FSBOs, I have not really done any. I got one expired a long time ago, but not. I don't focus too much on that just because our market over here doesn't have too many of them.
Awesome, Kyler. Thank you, man.
Yeah, of course.
So, Kyler, last question for you, and we'll let you go, is what would be, as the market, is what it is, we got NAR coming up, we got all this other different things going up, leave us with one thing that everybody can focus on, or one thing that everybody can do in their business to make sure that the last 8 months of the year exceed whatever they've done the first 4 months of the year.
I would probably say the thing that's worked for me. Try and be different than the realtor next to you. Showcase yourself in a different way than the next realtor. There's so many realtors that are very similar in what they do, how they do it. Be different. Be you. And I think that's probably where mine all come from. I'm just me. I'm just myself, and it seems to work a lot better than an average robot realtor that is just they're grinding, but there's no personalization. I always add personalization on everything I do, whether it's a cold call and I'm calling a next up lead. Hey, I saw what street you're on. I actually, funny story, 20 years ago, I used to ride my bike on that same street. Like it, I always just add personalization because it goes a long way. So be you. That would be my advice.
So, Kyler sits next to Jeremy Sellers. So I wrote a note here, be different than the realtor next to you. So I want to make sure Jeremy knows that you said that. So
he's not here, but his aura is still here.
Oh, I love it. Hey, buddy, I know you got to go, but so everyone, do me a favor, unmute yourself, give him a round of applause.
Right on, buddy.
Time to be out of here.
Great job.
Phenomenal
Nice
stuff here, buddy. So I really appreciate you coming on. You're having an absolutely phenomenal year, doing some amazing things, especially a 25-year-old, 3 years in the business, doing some really cool stuff. So I appreciate you taking some time to come on here and share some of your secrets and thoughts on success. So I appreciate that.
Thank you very much for having me, Robert. And I couldn't have done it without the awesome team of Century 21 Masters behind me, between the lending, the escrow, and our marketing. You guys are all just phenomenal. And shout out to City Bam. She kills it for us. So over here in Canyon Lake.
Cassidy, for those of you that don't know who he's.
Yeah, we call her City.
All right, buddy, go get him. I appreciate you.
All right, thank you guys.
All right, good stuff. So what did we learn? What did you get from that interview with Kyler? What were some of your takeaways?
I love his energy.
Energy. And I want you to know something. That's authentic. That is, because sometimes people do interviews and they pump themselves up to go on interviews and stuff like that. If you were to just pop into Canyon Lake tomorrow, just to sit there for the day, he's going to be that same energy. That's just who he is. I wrote that down too. It's great. His energy. What else did we get out of that? What were some of your other takeaways? That's it? Just the energy?
Well, like Kamal said, his confidence also. Confidence.
So it is the confidence. So what I wrote down here is, because that point, and I that's what the point I was alluding to, and Kamal, that's a great question of, he didn't really know everything about being a real estate agent, but he just went out and did things. He just went out and talked to people. He just did it. And then we were talking about that, okay, well, how do you just go do that? And he mentioned the confidence. Well, folks, I got to tell you, energy is a part of it. And energy sells, and energy is contagious and infectious. You got to have that excitement. I wrote down, and I know some of you get tired because I reference the same people all the time, but I wrote down the name Nora Avalos. And if you've never heard me talk about Nora Avalos, I have no idea who she is. This is a gal who's in Queens, New York. She's originally from Colombia. She's been here for 30 years and still has this thick Colombian accent. And she's made roughly almost $15 million in commission in her career. Not sales volume, commission, made $50 million. And I remember her being on stage and they said, how do you do that? When you got here, your accent was even thicker and, you didn't know what you're doing. But this is a lady, every time you see her, she's dressed to the nines. She's got a giant smile. And she says, I just always had great energy. And even though I didn't know everything I was saying and my accent was thick, I just talked to as many people as I could with a giant smile on my face, dressed professionally. And then I just started getting deals and then I figured it out. That energy is part of that. So even for some of you that are, well, I'm newer, or I don't have all the scripts down yet, or I'm not totally sure how to handle this. If you have that energy, that applies to that confidence, that overcomes a lot of things. So good points of the thing. All right, what else? What else did we get out of that? What other points did people get from that interview?
He said that he's more productive at the office than when he's working out of the house, which is great truth.
I didn't know he was going to say that. That was not part of the conversation him and I had. I'm glad he did because we've been talking about that a lot. I mean, we mentioned it a couple times at the Connect today as well, is the people that are engaged more in the office. And you don't have to, I mean, if you want to go every day, it's fine. If you don't have to go every day, but if you go at least a few times a week and work out of the office, it just shows in our numbers as a company that makes a giant difference. And, with somebody, and look I have a young daughter as well. I mean, not as young as his, but I have a young daughter. Well, I would love to be at home all day, spend time with her. Because for those of you that had kids, especially younger kids, he said it perfectly. They do, every time they do something new, you want to be there. Like, oh my God, they said what? They did this? Like, you want to be there. And I'm just as guilty of that because I have a young daughter and, and I want to be there for everything. But it's just different being at home versus being at the office. And so for him, that is a big thing. But I'm going to get that part clipped that I told, I hope everyone understood, is that how do you set yourself up at the office? Because going to the office is one thing, but how do you set yourself up? Is your workstation, set up for work, or is your workstation scattered and a mess? And there's no vision boards. There's no goals in front of you. There's just no plan. Are you open for distractions? How you set yourself up at your office, same way. There's a guy in Canada named DK, and DK makes a couple $1 million a year. Hasn't been in real estate for a very long time. He has the same thing, and he has essentially all the way around like Kyler does, to where everywhere his eyes go, there's something positive. There's a vision board, there's a lead board screen, there's this, there's that. You got to set yourself up at the office as well. But yeah, you got to get in there. You got to engage with the agents. You got to feed off the energy. Good stuff. Or what else? What else did you get out of that?
He said that you have to hear
Go ahead.
myself. Said that you have to have real relationships with people.
That was a great point. That was a great point. I wrote that down. He makes real relationships. So even when he goes to the businesses, the people that he goes to see at business, he knows their names. So the next time he goes in there, he calls them by their name. And if you want to make somebody feel special, call them by their name. If you want to make someone feel really special, call them the correct name. No, I'm just kidding. But call them by their name. He gets their names, and then for his database, he knows when it's their birthdays, their anniversaries, and he comments on them. He calls people. That's making relationships. Where you don't know where they're gonna come up at some point and have an impact on what you're doing. That was a great point. Make real relationships with people. That's why, and look at I've said this before, and he kind of alluded to this. He was talking about some of the things real estate agents say, and some of you might use this script, and maybe it works for you, and that's fine. But I hate this script. Is the script that says, I made a goal to help 20 families get into a house this year, and I'm curious, who do you know? To me, that script just makes it seem like you're just in it to try to close some deals and make some money. Like, what, you know what I mean? That's the way I hear that script when people use it. And I hear people use it. Maybe that works for you. So if it works for you, keep doing it. But I don't see that as a real personable building relationship script, even though I know people might use it. Yeah, make relationships with people. I love it. All right. Anything else that we got out of that?
Just like being yourself. Like a lot of the time we have certain traits or gifts, and we, because we're so focused on what other people are doing, we stray away from, the gifts that we have, and it kind of hinders our growth.
It doesn't kind of hinder your growth. It hinders your growth by a lot. You're 100% right. But I got to tell you, that is. So we'll wrap up with this because I was told today at the Connect I talk a lot, so I'll try to talk a little bit less. No, I'm just kidding. He wrote down. Christy brings up a great point on BU. Going back to the energy. Well, God, Kyler's got a lot of energy. I don't have that kind of energy. Okay, that's fine. Don't pretend to have that kind of energy. Just go be yourself. If you're analytical, it's okay to be analytical. If you're amiable, it's okay to be amiable. If you're expressive, it's okay to be expressive. If you're a driver, it's okay to be a driver. Be yourself, be authentic to who you are. Everyone's got certain skill sets. Everyone's got certain weaknesses, certain skill sets. Nobody's perfect. Just be authentic to who you are. The ones that are not authentic to who they are and try to be someone else, those are the ones that fail. I'll give you two examples and then we'll wrap up. You go to some of you like to work lead sources that you hear other people work and you're like, well, then I have to work that one. And then you don't get any business out of it. And then if you say, well, I still got to work it though, because someone else did it. You're not being true to yourself. You're not playing to your strength, your skill set. Kyler doesn't call expires. He doesn't call for, so there's no for sale bonus there, but he doesn't call expires. That's not his strength. His strength is building personal relationships, which is hard to do with an expired listing. So he plays to his strength. He plays to his database. We didn't even get to this, but he gets deals at the gym, because he works out with people. When he works out with people, hey, what do you do? All these other different things. He just builds relationships with people. That's his strength. And so everyone's got their strengths, and you have to play to your strengths. When you're not playing to your strengths and you're being somebody else, that's just not going to work. And the second story I'll share with you on being yourself. So when I was asked to speak at the Century 21 event, the 121, I said, okay, yeah, I was excited. And then they told me, well, we want you to do it like a TED Talk. And there's nothing against TED Talks. I know some people like TED Talks. I don't personally like TED Talks because I think they're boring, but that's just me. Okay, but that's not a shot. People love them, and everyone's got different flavors. That's the point. But I told them, I said, I don't do TED Talks. If you want me to do a TED Talk, just hire somebody else. That's what I told them. I said, because it's not who I am. That's not my brand. I'm high energy. I'm intensity, and that's not what a TED Talk is. I said, so just get somebody else. I said, because it's not going to be me, which means it's going to suck. And I was just totally honest with them. And one of the guys at Century 21 was like, well, I don't know, maybe we need to hire someone else. And God bless Joy Anderson. She goes, he can do whatever he wants. and I did it my way. But what was funny though, is at the event, I did it my way. And everyone came up to me afterwards. Great job. Amazing. And then you saw some of the other people, because there was a few of us that got to talk, that did it the way that they were suggested. And you could see the people where that's their style and they did okay. And you could see the people that were trying to force the style, that were
Yeah.
like, they were more like me. They're generally more expressive, more excited, and they were trying to force their talk into a different style, and they were terrible. And I'm just being honest. They were terrible because they weren't authentic to themselves. Whoever you are, be you. So that's that. Good stuff. All right, very good. Well, lots of great information there. And look, the last thing there, one of the reasons I asked him to come on, not only is he doing really phenomenal this year, 3 years in the business, 25 years old, so for some of you who are newer, you could do it too. For some of you that are younger, you could do it too. It's not an age thing. It's not an experience thing. It's not a location thing, because I know we were joking about it, but I know a lot of you don't know where Canyon Lake is. I didn't know where the hell it was until we had an office there. So it doesn't matter. You could do it. You can do it. So hopefully you got that from him as well. All right, everybody, good stuff. So 3:30 today, we got another class. We're going to review the April market stats. We're going to go over info sparks and things like that. Same channel, so make sure you're here at 3:30 today. Other than that, from now and then, we got some open mic prospecting. I don't have the list in front of me, but I'm sure we've got some open mics set up. But glad you were able to make it. And let me stop.